The game has finally started. The game finally begins. Tell your friends, etc. It's a best of 3 between probably the best matched players in this entire tournament to fight one another. I forgot I had muted game sounds, guys. This is the WCS Wild Card Challenger League Qualifiers. I'm Rifkin. You're watching on Base Trade TV, and I want to thank you guys very much for tuning in and supporting all of the awesome games we've had so far. But this one is probably going to be one of the best. This is the round of 8. This is the quarterfinals, and they're getting super duper close to the end. But as the epic music cues in, so must the introduction. So without further ado, a man who no longer has a team, but still is an incredibly good player. It is the Red Terran player, Bomber. And it's so weird not saying a word before that, but Bomber. And raise your ace cates. Drop. No, wait. Raise your dongers, drop your ace cates, give Dire Tide whatever you need to do. In the lower right, a man now also without a team, but incredibly skilled. It is the Zerg player, Check. Now, unfortunate for me, Bomber's been kind of a bit of a hot commodity. You know, he's been oftentimes with the Red Bull crew, so to speak, and he's not been competing in any tournaments I've cast. That being said, it doesn't mean I haven't watched him, and I've loved watching every moment of him. Scarlet versus Bomber, let's be honest, that was probably like the series of 2013. Check, however, competed in the Acer Team Story Cup Season 2. He played on the behalf of Western Wolves. And guys, not only did I have the pleasure and the honor of casting Check a lot, Check pretty much had like one of the best scores for his entire, not just Western Wolves, but like his personal score in the Easter Team Story Cup Season 2 was like at least top 5. Like this guy kicks ass and then some. And that's competing against people like Tasia, 4GG from Millennium. Like there are so many good players that I've seen Check take on. And Bomber, God, it's weird to say, but I don't know who's going to take the series. I would literally, like, I don't say this often, and I know I said it just last night, so it kind of sounds like I say it often, but, like, I would literally have to flip a coin to call the outcome of this series. These are both such good players. Now, Heavy Rain is a map that we've seen a couple times so far. Of the 2014 ladder map pool, Heavy Rain's probably not the worst map. It's probably pretty close to being a bit frustrating for Terran players to play on. Oh, sorry, one sec. Ugh. That's... Ugh! Got like cat hair on my mouth. Crazy cat man confirmed. But, what was I saying? Third bases are a pain in the ass on this map no matter how you look at it. This wall off tends to be a common thing people take. Mostly because, of course, it prevents a large area fight over here and forces chokes and fights towards the south, which is sometimes you want to do. But Bomber is not a player who's known for his mech skills. He is not a velo. He is not going to be turtling up like a crazy madman. And you really don't have to worry about this wall off if you've got so much aggression going on that Check can't push out of his base to counterattack. But getting Check in that sort of position, not an easy thing to do. Anyways, we'll see how this game shapes up. We don't have a Reaper Scout coming out of Bomber, but instead a quick third command center. Using the barracks as part of his wall off here on the front is a bit of a cute move. This will, of course, choke off the surface area quite a bit, but guys, let's be honest. If Check had decided to open this game with a 10 pool, or hell, even just like 13, 14 gas or something, like he could have just run train on Bomber. But Bomber playing is very greedy, taking that risk, hoping that his opponent's not going to do this in the WCS qualifiers, is going to luck out in this scenario. But, okay, another barracks being put down here. I guess you could fully wall this off if you wanted to. Bomber, of course, known for his 3 racks combined with Marines, can be very aggressive. But will the third one come down? Yep. So Bomber, oh, with Marines, a very greedy opener here out of him with a lot of Marines and a lot of barracks production. You know, this is a bit funny to see too, because sometimes you'll see those 3 racks come down before the third command center. In fact, oftentimes you'll see the 3 racks come down before the third command center because you want to have that Marine production up for either pushing or defending against heavy aggression. But that's not the case here. And I don't like the tech lab being put on this particular one. Everything here is covered by Marine fire, and everything here is covered by the bunker, of course. But if Check were to YOLO in a bunch of lings, and pardon me for using that phrase, but let's be honest, if you were to suicide a bunch of lings into this tech lab and cancel Stimpack, that could be just straight up devastating for Bomber. But Stimpack has started right away, and I think he's hoping to finish this up at a time in which Check will not be across the map with a bunch of lings, will not see this coming, will not realize, like, oh, this is the single most important upgrade to a Terran player playing Bio. Oh well. Oh, that's kind of a cool thing. Of course, I'm a little bit behind due to everything else, but chat saying Bomber and Czech actually played on the ladder earlier today, and Bomber barely won. Or sorry, Czech barely won, my mistake, versus Bomber. So this series has already got a little bit of a prelude to it. Unfortunately, the public, I guess, did not all get to see it. But this full wall off does secure him against Baneling Bust, which is kind of the #1 thing you're always a little bit wary about as a Terran player. Whether it's a top class player like Czech or whether it's a bottom feeding Zerg player, the reality is Baneling Bust can be a very, very harsh reality for any Terran player to deal with. Okay, SCVs, some couple Marines just looking to secure this third base or maybe put a bunker down if you can. That is
First Blood.
Not First Blood, but I missed the other one, so I do apologize. Lots of SCVs have been produced here for Bomber, but of course dropping 3 mules at a time are letting his economy look quite nice. I like the repositioning of the barracks now for the extra add-ons. I really, if he had left these in the wall off, that would have just been, quite frankly, a mistake in my opinion. Oh, but the timing in which he lifts this off... Okay, he's got enough Marines. That's not problematic at all. I was going to say this could be a problem if the Lings run by, but there's so many Marines here. Not to mention one even on the cliff. So, has to get that wall off down. Really important. Terran wall offs are a big deal. Not because they keep Lings out of the base. Well, okay, let's be honest. It's because they keep Lings out of the base. But they soak up a lot of hits. If Banelings are coming and you have to use like 6 Banelings to take out all the supply depots in a bunker, then all of a sudden the Marines are a little bit safer. And Marines can take on Lings pretty easily, especially when it's 1-1 versus 1-1. But they can't deal with Banelings too effectively. So Bomber does have to plug this wall off, but he's securing the third. Now my big question is, does he put the bunker here and a couple depots like we do see some players do? Or does he go straight up for the full wall off? There are collapsible rock towers on this map. He can shut off this, wall this off, and really be safely secured, knowing there's only 2 avenues of attack, but may not end up doing that. Some players actually have been neglecting these rocks entirely, whether out of ignorance or on purpose. I have no idea. But Banelings have been started here, and of course Czech happily on 3 bases, finishing up his Spire just as I speak, so we'll see the Mutalisk Spire come down in just a moment. Even a Macro Hatchery here in the main. I don't know why I said a Mutalisk Spire, because I mean, what else is it going to be for? Looks like he is going to create the full choke here. Even, will he wall off the gas? He will. Okay, so some players have been electing to ignore this gas because the refinery, for a bio player, is not nearly as important. You don't need 6 geysers as bio like you do mech. And by walling this off, it makes it a little bit tighter, and you don't have to worry about protecting these SCVs either. I'm not sure that I love this choice, but what I do like out of Bomber is he's starting to be a little bit aggressive. He hasn't touched Czech this whole game. In fact, he hasn't even scouted the fact that the creep spread is so insanely far on the map, and any other Terran player would have Hellenes out, they'd be cleaning this up, but not Bomber. Bomber is a unique brand of Terran and gets this 4th base right away. Lots of Lings are coming in. He's going to need to pick up and get out of here. There's not a lot of damage he can get done, and saves every single Marine, albeit just barely. Of course, these rocks are going to be a bit of a headache to deal with, but creep tumors go right on through them. Very awkwardly contested bases on this map for a Terran player taking their 4th. No one goes up here. No one, because they got to go all the way around, and there's like these different pathways. It's not fun to deal with. This tends to be the 4th base location, but again, for Bomber on a map like this, where it's so wide and so spread out, and there's so many different avenues of attack, taking a 4th is never fun. Period. Bottom line. Well, Banelings up here in the top right could possibly try and waddle on in, but of course Bomber's got this wall off. Even with the turret there, it's going to soak up a good half of those Banelings before any of them can even connect to the SCVs. Pushing through the middle of the map right now, though, we got those Marines once again from Bomber. Do take out an Overlord. There are, of course, Banelings behind us who's going to need to pick up, lest you lose everything. It does cost him a couple Marines, but not too bad. Neither player really losing much there. Czech does not have to trade Banelings away, and Bomber doesn't lose too many Marines. The problem for Bomber, though, he's not really getting too much done with this, and the Mutalists are finally coming out on the map. Actually, I love this out of Czech. He's got Zerglings on patrol over here in case of a drop. But, of course, we all know that once Mutalists get out, drops don't become an impossibility, but an incredible difficult task to pull off. Dancing around Mutalists is not fun with medevacs, even though they do have the afterburners. Gets to the Queen, gets to those cancels the 2 creep tumors, my bad. But nice little pick off there. Mutalists have been revealed if Bomber was looking. I think those were just barely in range. Back at home, we got a couple siege tanks. This is something that's becoming really popular with recent ladder maps. Tank compositions were, back in Wings of Liberty, the thing to do, the bomb diggity, if you will. I don't know why I said that. But in Heart of the Swarm, they were replaced. Thors became much more effective versus Mutalisk. Widowmines kind of took up the role of tanks as far as dealing with Banelings. And of course, you don't really care if the Zerglings slip through. It's taking out the Banelings that are a big problem. But tanks do provide that nice little cover fire. They're unfortunately very exposed versus Mutalisk a lot of the time. And these bunkers coming out of Bomber are actually kind of cute. I like these a lot. It's a great fallback. Clearing up a lot of creep here in the middle of the map, though, pushing once again. There's Banelings and Zerglings ready to respond. But this time, Bomber's not looking to fall back. He's not looking to retreat off of 2 medevacs. He's got a full army behind this. Widowmines do go down. Unfortunately, not the best split, but those Widowmines on the top of the hill somehow hits those Banelings underneath the Mutalisk. Splash damage is really good in that regard. Does focus fire on top of the Banelings. Siege tanks do manage to siege up. Typically, that's where they die, but with so many Marines, Bomber holds the line. Waiting for his Widowmines to come off cooldown. This one does have 3 health, barely alive, but with 13 kills. Again, this Widowmine was like the MVP with that hit up there. But he's looking to move forward, and, you know, Czech, he can't really directly engage into this. There's so many Marines that these Mutals will absolutely get shredded if they get involved. Do pick off a Widowmine. The small things are what matter the most. Marines are going to go down, and these siege tanks are going to provide covering fire versus the Banelings. Now spreading his Marines out towards the 3rd base of Czech, looking to take an engagement. There's so many Banelings ready to roll in. 43 about to collide with this army, and both players are going to lose a lot. Banelings go down, and the Marines have been absolutely neutralized. I think Czech has certainly earned a mega kill as he drives Bomber back. But please note, guys, the resources lost a little bit more in the favor of our Terran player because, of course, so many Banelings were lost. Now, it doesn't reflect how many Banelings actually detonate when they get self-killed, but 27 were actually picked off from the 40-something that were going down. More Banelings. Oh, God, 26 more Banelings coming out now. Ugh. NASL sound guy working for Riff. Wait, what's wrong with the sound? Sorry, if there's something wrong with the sound this entire cast, I'll get that fixed ASAP. Sorry, guys. But anyways, these rock towers might be targeted here to keep the Marines out. May just be left open in order to engage a little bit better, but Banelings collide once again. Great connections with Bomber's army, but the tank lives awkwardly enough. We'll get a couple hits off before going down. Mutalisk will clean up. Oh no, Bomber's going to lose the medevacs! This is huge! Losing the army's okay, but you can't afford to lose the medevacs. Oh my god. Okay, so the medevacs are really important. They cost a lot of gas, all these wonderful things, blah, 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 blah. We got Banelings rolling in, and the bunkers. Oh, I love these bunkers being up, paying off so well right now. We got Hellbats even coming out of Bomber behind this. Mutalisk are, oh, the sensor tower burned down. Looks like the 2 bunkers are going to burn down. Bomber's not pulling SCVs to repair. That is unfortunate. Much better engagement this time out of Bomber. Defensively on the home turf, so to speak. Plays out a little bit stronger. But okay, looks like my sound's cool. Sorry, I misinterpreted. I glanced over at chat to see it, and I was like, the one thing I see is someone's complaining about sound, the NASL sound guy. I'm like, oh god, no! I haven't been casting for like an 18-minute game with no sound on, have I? First thing I check is my microphone, make sure it's muted. Don't have a heart attack. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Anyways, lots of Mutalisk. You know, this is the big thing here for Czech. He hasn't been training too many away. He's only lost 5 so far this game. He has 24 more on top of this. This allows him to actually engage on top of the Marines. Widowmines are going to do what they can, but what they can do is not a whole lot. And the Banelings, again, going to collide right on through, but Bomber's got so many Marines behind this. Czech pushing into this. We'll get one last beautiful Baneling hit. But he can't quite killing blow this. 64, 70 freaking Zerglings are coming out behind this. An Ultralisk Cavern is on the way. This orbital will be taking out. A little unfortunate to see, but the SCVs at the very least get out alive. Replacing your orbitals as a Terran player is not the worst thing in the world, because typically you want to have like those extra 10 down if you're afforded that opportunity. But for now, Bomber is unfortunately barely keeping up in supply, and these engagements are going worse and worse for him. A drop does go off here towards the south. I love this Widowmine positioning. It's going to hit the Mutalisk if they come in first. 26 more Banelings out of those 70 Zerglings about to be made here, and Bomber is on 3-3. These Marines are getting some damage done, but forced to retreat towards the main. These Lynx have been on patrol the entire game. Drawing the fire here of a couple Mutalisks. Will be able to take 1 or 2 out. Nope, not focus firing, so we'll lose all of his Marines for nothing. And of course, we all know at this point, if you don't kill a Mutalisk outright, the damage you did is kind of irrelevant. The regen is insane. Widowmine down here should be able to get a couple more kills off. Up to 4 so far. Workers were just transferred in, and I think Czech won't let this go unattended to for too long. Makes a couple kills. Pushing into the third base, though. That's a lot of banelings. And Bomber says, nope, 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 nope. Dot JPEG lifts the command center, evacuates the SCVs. He knows there's more banelings behind those initial 4 and doesn't waste a moment's time. He's got to repair these depots and he's got to build new ones if he wants to keep this base safe. Unfortunately, it doesn't feel like he's getting kind of choked into this map, though. Bomber's not able to get those drops out. He's not able to push outwards. And these engagements, guys, every single time Czech engages, he should be coming out behind on the resources lost because of the way banelings work, but instead is coming out ahead. That's just how effective this has been going for him. But the Marines are storming forward, and the Mutalisks are going to be chased off. SCVs went dead aplenty, but there's enough left alive to repair that command center. Ultralisks are now on the way, and this is where it gets really, really scary for Bomber. He's got so many Marines and a decent amount of Widow Mines, but neither of those units deals with Ultralisks too effectively. If he can take out enough... Like, if the Ultralisks just provide that soaking, covering fire, the banelings roll and they clean up everything afterwards. Mutalisks in the main will get right on top of Bomber's production, and now it's do or die. Ladies or gentlemen, this is pretty much what Bomber has to do to make this game work. He's either going to kill everything here or he's going to lose a lot of home for production. Banelings rolling in a little bit at a time. Where are those scumbag Widow Mines going? Abandoning the army in full, going right towards this base and going to try and kill as many workers as possible. Gets some decent hits off, but I don't know if it was worth taking away from the Marines. Now pushing into this 5th base. What can Czech do but lose it? 2 bases down right now, and a whole line of workers were killed. Is this enough damage to bring Bomber into this game to a good way? Czech finally behind on the resources lost, but he's still got those Ultralisks, he's still got those banelings, and Bomber's got to split versus this if he wants a chance to survive. 2 Ultralisks on the front line, again, going to draw a lot of the fire of these Marines, but as we can see, Marines are just tickling the Ultralisks at best. Mutalisks are going to clean this up, Medevacs are going to be in full retreat, and the Marines, oh god, these poor Marines, they don't stand a chance versus those Ultralisks. Dialing back off of this, whoa, Czech, I didn't even see this, took the top right base while this was going on. So while he might only be down to 2.5 bases right now due to the massive explosive damage over here, you know, Bomber, I really feel like that damage was worth it. If he didn't get those base snipes, I think he'd be screwed. Barreling in here with more banelings though, and Ultralisks on the front line. There's just not enough. The Marines can't deal with the Ultralisks. They can't deal with the Mutalisks combined. One or the other maybe, but not both. Good game is going to be called Game 1. Ladies and gentlemen, going to go to Czech. Now that's only Game 1, and it is a best of 3. And we got some fan favoritism going off in chat. We can see at the bottom corner over here, our vote system, 79% of you rooting for Bomber, and I can't blame you. He's certainly going to be the fan favorite, but Czech, man. Czech. Well, we'll see what Game 2 ends up being, guys. I don't know. I believe it's loser's pick for WCS. I could be mistaken. At any rate, I'm probably going to try and squeeze in a bit of an ad depending on how long this game takes to go. There's a massive delay on stream compared to like the actual games that we're casting live, guys. WCS are have the rules for that, so if there's no time between the next game, you'll get very short ads. If either of these players needs a break, then you'll probably get a full-blown set of ads. But either way, thank you for watching them as we get into game number 2. Oh, Mr. Bitter retweeted me. That's cool.